Hello and welcome back to Bluehat Cybersec Academy. In this video, we will explore further topics from Domain 3 of the Certified in Cybersecurity exam, which is about access control concepts. This video isn't just for exam preparation, it's also perfect for anyone interested in building a strong foundation in the world of cybersecurity. We are going to discuss in this lesson, number 1, physical security controls. Number 2, types of physical access controls. And number 3, monitoring. Make sure to watch till the end, because these topics are the foundations of cybersecurity. If you haven't already, subscribe to Bluehat Cybersec Academy. Your path to becoming a cybersecurity professional starts right here. So, what are physical security controls? Physical access controls are items you can physically touch. They include mechanisms deployed to prevent, monitor, or detect direct contact with systems or areas within a facility. Examples of physical access controls include security guards, fences, motion detectors, locked doors or gates, sealed windows, lights, cable protection, laptop locks, badges, swipe cards, guard dogs, cameras, man traps or turnstiles, and alarms. Physical access controls are necessary to protect the assets of a company, including its most important asset, people. When considering physical access controls, the security of personnel always comes first, followed by securing other physical assets. So, why have physical security controls? Physical access controls prevent unauthorized individuals from entering a physical site, such as a workplace. This protects not only physical assets like computers from being stolen, but also ensures the health and safety of the personnel inside. Now that we understand why physical security controls are essential, let's move further to explore the different types of physical access controls used in organizations. Many types of physical access control mechanisms can be deployed in an environment to control, monitor, and manage access to a facility. These range from deterrence to detection mechanisms. Each area requires unique and focused physical access controls, monitoring, and prevention mechanisms. The following sections discuss several mechanisms that may be used to control access to various areas of a site, including perimeter and internal security, badge systems, and gate entry. Physical security controls for human traffic are often managed with technologies such as turnstiles, man traps, and remotely or system-controlled door locks. For the system to identify an authorized employee, an access control system needs to have an enrollment station used to assign and activate an access control device. Most often, a badge is produced and issued with the employee's identifiers, and the enrollment station defines specific areas accessible to the employee. In high-security environments, enrollment may also include biometric characteristics. Generally, an access control system compares an individual's badge against a verified database. If authenticated, the access control system sends output signals, allowing authorized personnel to pass through a gate or door to a controlled area. These systems are typically integrated with the organization's logging systems to document both authorized and unauthorized access activity. A range of card types allows the system to be used in various environments. These include barcode, proximity, hybrid, magnetic stripe, and smart cards. There is another crucial aspect of physical security: environmental design, which focuses on how the physical layout of a workspace can influence safety and access control. Crime prevention through environmental design, or CPTED, addresses the challenge of creating safer workspaces through passive design elements. This approach is highly applicable to the information security community, where professionals design, operate, and assess the organizational security environment. Practices such as building construction standards and data center layouts also impact how we implement controls over our physical environment. CPTED provides guidance to solve security challenges using organizational, mechanical, and natural design methods. By directing the flow of people through passive techniques, signaling who should and should not be in a space, and increasing visibility in hidden areas, the likelihood of crime significantly decreases. Now let's continue by understanding one of the most advanced forms of physical security control, biometrics. To authenticate a user's identity, biometrics use characteristics unique to the individual seeking access. A biometric authentication solution actually entails two processes: enrollment and verification. During enrollment, the user's registered biometric code is stored either in a system or on a smart card kept by the user. Then, during verification, the user presents their biometric data to the system so that it can be compared with the stored biometric code. Even though biometric data may not be secret, it is personally identifiable information and must not be revealed without the user's consent. Biometric systems generally fall into two categories: physiological and behavioral. Physiological biometric systems are considered highly accurate, but can be expensive to implement and maintain due to the cost of equipment and user registration. Some users may also be uncomfortable with biometric systems, considering them invasive or privacy concerns, as certain scans, like retina scans, can disclose medical conditions. Another challenge involves the sanitization of biometric devices. Now that we've explored the various physical access control types, let's move on to how organizations continuously monitor and maintain their security posture. The use of physical access controls, monitoring personnel and equipment entering and leaving, and auditing and logging all physical events are key elements in maintaining overall organizational security. Cameras are normally integrated into the overall security program and centrally monitored. They provide a flexible method of surveillance and monitoring, acting as a deterrent to criminal activity and as a detection mechanism when combined with other sensors. If recorded, they can also provide evidence after an incident. Cameras are often used in locations that are difficult to access or where a forensic record is needed. Various motion sensor technologies can also enhance monitoring in exterior locations. These include infrared, microwave, and laser sensors trained on tuned receivers. Additional sensors can be integrated into doors, gates, and turnstiles, while strain-sensitive cables or vibration sensors can detect attempts to scale fences. Proper integration of perimeter sensors alerts an organization to intruders attempting to gain access or breach a fence line. Logs play a critical role in physical security monitoring. They can be in the form of a physical sign-in sheet maintained by a security guard or an electronic log managed by an access control system. Logs record events that have occurred and are essential to support business and compliance requirements. They must capture and retain data for as long as required for legal or business purposes. Because logs can be used in forensic investigations, they must be protected from manipulation and unauthorized disclosure. Organizations should review logs regularly as part of their security program, with clear policies for log retention. A log anomaly is anything unusual and may be the first indicator of a potential security issue. For example, missing timestamps, account lockouts, or attempts to write data to protected directories. While logging everything might seem safe, excessive data can overwhelm the system, so retention policies should be guided by business and legal requirements. For instance, PCI DSS requires businesses to retain 1 year of log data. If an organization lacks a formal retention policy, it should consult its legal department for guidance, as legal teams often have specific data retention rules that can shape policy. Alarm systems are commonly installed on doors and windows in homes and offices. In their simplest form, they alert personnel when a door or window is opened unexpectedly. For example, if an employee enters a code or swipes a badge, no alarm triggers. However, if a door is forced open without authorization, an alarm will activate. Fire alarms are another example, typically activated by heat or smoke sensors, providing audible warnings and contacting emergency responders. Panic buttons are also widely used. Once pressed, they immediately alert police or security personnel. Security guards are one of the most effective physical security controls. Regardless of the type of access control used, the presence of a guard or monitoring system discourages impersonation and tailgating attempts. This significantly helps in preventing theft, unauthorized access, and misuse of information or equipment. That's all for now. Thanks for tuning in. Keep the momentum going by checking out the next video in the series. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to Bluehat Cybersec Academy.